curtain, Jimmy.
Go ahead.
So here we are, another question and answer, another exciting week here in Arlington, Massachusetts. Right now we're in the middle of a big electrical storm. We just had a huge blast outside, and I just love electrical storms, don't you guys? As long as I'm not the recipient of one of those bolts, right, Jimmy?
Yeah, why don't you go outside and I'll give you a golf club and see if that helps.
What a friend you are.
Oh, well, you know, you can only use a little bit of a charge every day, that's what I said.
Jimmy's offered to give me one of his irons to go out running around in a thunderstorm. Thank you, Jimmy.
Yeah, don't worry, I always wanted to show you the game, Kevin.
They should give you the woods, that'll be fine.
Yeah, you couldn't give me a wooden...
We'll put you out under the tree, how's that? There's one out front, actually, we can prune that up a little bit.
Actually, it's no fun. I almost got struck by lightning. It struck
When?
next door. It struck at a house next door to where I was. I was underneath a sunroof. And actually, if anybody out there is listening live, you've had close encounters on lightning, would like to know. I know it's not upholstery related, but it would be kind of neat. But did you know that before the lightning, Jimmy, that the hairs on the back of your neck go up before the lightning?
I never tested my hairs.
You can sense it. You can sense the
I'm
lightning.
a sensitive guy, so it happened to me. So.
That's right, and I just want to mention Jimmy is here, and he has won a lottery to be here, our vast studio audience.
I never got that one.
He's sitting in the red seat, right? Like in Fenway Park, they have a red seat that Ted Williams hit that home run on, right?
There are still no concessions.
I know.
I gotta bring my own stuff, coffee.
I know.
My
I know.
donuts.
It's pretty sad, huh?
Pretty pathetic, yeah.
Jimmy just finished up his, almost finished up his arts and crafts chair, the mahogany hand-carved chair that will be online. When would that be online, Patrick, at Broadway Upholstery School?
So I think Michelle's is first, so she's gonna be first.
And Michelle's, what is Michelle's? I forget what she was working on now.
That was the tufted back, right?
Oh yeah, you guys don't miss that one, the tufted back. For all you who have those yearly subscriptions, it's a bargain, I'm sure. We're hearing back that it's great value. Now Jimmy's class, that has a lot in it. Michelle's class, Jimmy's class is full of content, and what I like about Jimmy and Michelle and the beginners and the journeymen, there's another lightning bolt. Is that they ask the right questions. So when you're watching that, you guys, BroadwayUpholsterySchool.com, go on and just browse, look at the website, see what we're doing. But what you can't see is the amount of classes. I was talking to Jimmy about his class. I'm going to have Jimmy come up in a little while and we'll talk a little bit more about it. But I just wanted to say that in Jimmy's class, we figured that there's going to be 25-hour content just in that one class alone. And so now I haven't really counted, so don't quote me on this, but altogether, there's probably hundreds of hours of content. And what that means is that within every hour, you're getting tips. You're getting 2, 3, 4 tips an hour maybe at least. And also you're actually seeing the techniques being performed. So once in a while I'll jump in and show people how to do something, then have the student do it, and then they run through the mistakes and we correct them, and that means that you don't have to worry about the mistakes on your end, right? That you watch the video, you see the mistakes, but you don't have to make the mistakes yourself, right? So, you can tell we're doing a live show, Jimmy.
All right, thank you.
So Jimmy had to rush out because his windows are open and it's pouring rain.
Are you serious?
So when Jimmy comes back, we're going to have an IQ test for him because we've been talking about this stuff.
Let's just, hold on a minute here.
Let's
Swing the camera over. Hold on, let me just show everybody what's going on here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Jimmy!
Oh my God! Oh my!
Open that door wide, Jimmy, from there.
Oh, you want to do that?
Open that door wide open.
Oh, it looks great.
Whoa.
So your windows were down, Jimmy.
Just a little bit.
Oh no!
Jimmy, the windows work better when they're up in a rainstorm, Jimmy.
Oh, is that what you... Oh, okay, Mr. Bob Vila.
Oh no, he's wet. I'm sorry. It's not as funny now.
Only in a minute. It only took us a minute.
I'm sorry. How did the rest of the studio audience do out there? Are they closing their windows too?
Oh yeah, they're out there, Kevin. Actually, they're waiting for Broadway to float away.
Jimmy, how about offering Jimmy a towel back?
We have?
We have paper.
I get this.
You alright?
Yeah, I'm good.
We have paper towels back there.
Do you want some, Jimmy?
No, I'm good. I like a little, you know what?
You sure?
All day I've been like, oh,
Jimmy,
God, this is
It
horrible.
was humid out too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was waiting for this. Please. It's fine.
I'm not a big believer in karma, Jimmy, but weren't you just telling me that you would like to have me go out there with the golf club up there and to get lightning?
Oh, stop it.
We'll get to you in a minute. So we have a question.
There's still plenty of rain out there for you. Give me that club right now.
It looks fine.
We have a live question. Wow, this is not bad.
This is from Erica.
Hey, Erica, is it raining there?
She just commented on. She just said that. Go ahead, Mikhail. Sorry.
Can you spend some time talking about railroading velvet? I need to understand how the nap goes from doing a 91-inch sofa using the standard 54-inch fabric.
Yeah, so, Erica, you would be better served. I don't know if you purchased the velvet. We have that problem with this one going to be coming up. But a good replacement for velvet is chenille. Chenille is, a lot of people who don't even know the difference, lay people don't even know the difference between chenille and velvet because it feels the same. The nice thing about a chenille is that sometimes it's multi-directional. On velvet, a strong cotton velvet, for instance, always has a direction, and that direction is coming down. So let me explain. We have the perfect sofa, Michaela. We'll just show up here, show the sofa for a minute, and I'll explain railroading. I'll explain a fabric that can't be railroaded would be a velvet. So if you have a nap of a velvet that's coming this way, it's coming off the roll at the 54, you're going to have a seam here, and you're going to have a seam right about there. And if you have a bench cushion, you're going to have a seam. You can't do anything about it because the nap overrides everything. Okay? So is a follow-up question?
She says, and I want one piece of fabric on the back, no seams.
That's right. So this is an outside back. If it has a seam, the only way you cannot railroad a velvet that has a strong nap. Now some velvets are called. Some velvets you can railroad, some velvets don't have a high nap. Usually it's a synthetic velvet that doesn't have a high nap, but if you've already purchased the velvet and it has a heavy nap or a heavy favored nap going one way, you should not railroad it. And railroading means run it sideways. So your nap would be either going this way or this way. That is not a good idea. I'll tell you why, because when people sit on it, you're going to go against the nap and they're going to call you in about 2 weeks and say, I don't like the way that the fabric's wearing. What did you do? So make sure that if you use a velvet, that it's a low pile. Okay, low pile velvets can be railroaded in some cases, not all. Okay? So I hope that answers. That was a perfect opportunity, actually, right there, Erica, to show you. Hope that she understands all that. Do we have any other questions or answers? Okay. So Patrick, are you ready for Pam's?
Yes.
You're going to throw that up there. I want to talk about the upholstery, the Broadway Upholstery School Facebook, and Pam has been a great supporter of that, and I think she's getting a lot of benefit from that. I advise you guys to go on there. Jimmy actually is one of the administrators, so he comments often.
I accept all of this.
Yeah, he's a very accepting guy, and he doesn't mind getting a little wet. You know, Jimmy, you should have used a little Scotch Guard before you went out there.
Just spray it on me like magic? Really? What kind of world do you live in, mister?
We have another question.
This is a follow-up from Erica. She says, I'm using a synthetic velvet.
Yeah, she might tell her to check the pile. Tell her to run her hands 4 directions on it to see. She may be okay with that. It's really kind of up to you in the end. It's your call on that. I'll tell you the thing about a synthetic velvet that you don't want to seam it. I'll tell you why. Because synthetic velvets have roll marks. If you notice, it's just inherent in all of them. But synthetics have more roll marks. That means that when it's just what it sounds like. It has horizontal marks that you can't get out sometimes. So the problem with that is when you're piecing it, you might have a roll mark this way, and then you might have a roll mark here. Roll marks never match, and sometimes it doesn't look so hot. Okay, so you want to try on a velvet. I don't like piecing myself, But I'll tell you, when I first started in this business, that's all we did was piece. People accepted piecing because they knew all fabrics came off the roll like this. No, there wasn't any such thing as a railroad fabric over 40 years ago. If there was, I didn't know about it. So everybody accepted the fact, okay, you're gonna have a seam here, you're gonna have a seam here. If you have a bench cushion, you're gonna have a seam, and on the seat, it's gonna be seam down here, on the outside back, it's gonna be seam. So it's just, I think we've been spoiled by the box stores again. I hate to pick on them, but they've spoiled us for having fabric that can be railroaded. So railroading became very popular, very fast as a good fabric for anything over a chair that you don't have to seam. I don't know if that makes sense. So let's talk a little bit about Pam now. Patrick's going to put this up. Pam says, this is on the Facebook page, says, looking for recommendations for the next 2 steps on a chair that she's doing. Covering the springs, let's cover that first. So she has zigzag springs here, and even if coil springs or zigzag springs, once you spring something up, whether you're twining or not, and in this case, there's just one twine on this, I would recommend, Pam, if you do, is get a couple of more twines just to kind of stabilize your zigzag springs. You know that I'm not a big fan of zigzag springs, but you have them, and if you want to use them, you should stabilize them a little bit more by tying them. You can get like three more ties on it, and then put a piece of burlap over that. You want to fill in the holes. Okay, you can't have that. And it looks to me like then her next cushion is how to cut shape cushion, specifically the thickness and how to contour. So what it looks like, it's really difficult sometimes for me to see it, but it looks like if she upholsters this really flat, meaning just the burlap and a layer of cotton, and then use the fabric to upholster that, it looks like the cushion sits inside the frame. So therefore, if it sits inside the frame, it looks like about 1 inch. It looks like a 3-inch cushion with the piping would be satisfactory, because only the 2 inches on the top is going to be shown through this. Does that make sense, Pam? The reason I'm saying 3 inches is because it recesses 1 inch, and that you're seeing about 2 inches. You don't want to go too thick on the cushion here. If you go 4 inches, it's going to be too big. And this is kind of hard for me. I'm just trying to judge this through a picture, right? I'm judging scale when I look at this. Scale, S-C-A-L-E, scale. And I'm trying to, kind of give you the proper, without seeing it, it's kind of hard. But I have a good solid guess on this. Looks like you let us know. It looks like you caned this yourself. It looks really good. If you recaned it, looks like that. So then she's got, the chairs came to me stripped with no cushion, so I have nothing to go on. So she really has to do a little detective work here and figure this out, right? But I hope that was a help, Pam. Let me know if it was. Was there anything else on the Facebook, Patrick, Facebook page?
Not much, no.
Okay. So we have some comments on the YouTube channel. By the way, the YouTube channel seems to be taken off lately as of late, isn't it, Patrick?
Yeah, everything's up. Views.
Everything's up on the YouTube channel. We're thrilled about that, and we're thrilled with the comments that we get, even if they're critical. I try to handle the critical comments too. Right, Jimmy, do you like being criticized for your work?
I want to know where they are.
Do you want to know where they No, it's okay. I mean,
I'm sorry. Oh yeah, I take criticism well. I'm sorry.
You have to really. We have another question, Jimmy. Maybe this one's for Jimmy.
No.
This is from Pam.
Hi, Pam. Jimmy's right here too. Jimmy says hi.
Looking at the front edge of the chair, if the cushion is inside, should it come all the way out the front edge of the chair?
No, you should. This is a little unusual piece, I have to say. At least it looks to me like the cushion sits within the frame of the chair, so that means that it doesn't come out all the way to the front. It looks like on the front it sits inside too. That's what it looks like to me. I just don't know what else to tell you. I think that it would look fine that way. As far as comfort goes, I'm not so sure. Because your knees will be hitting that. But I don't think this is the type of chair that you're making for somebody to sit and read War and Peace on or anything like that. I think it's a chair, it's a side chair. So I think aesthetics is important on a side chair. Not always comfort. Okay? So I think that you're good with that. So we have on the YouTube, so we're just about to talk about the YouTube. So sometimes we have people who are professional upholsterers who look at the YouTube channel and make some critical comments, which is fine. But what you have to remember on the YouTube, I think for 99% of the people who are watching the YouTubes, they're beginners or they're journeymen or they're advanced journeymen. I'd like to think that some professionals can learn from me for sure. But a lot of my teaching style is geared for the beginner, I have to admit. I mean, I work as people progress. I can get more technical with them and take them along that way. But I would say the majority of my classes over the years, and I think the best online class is one with the beginner, because they're the ones asking all the questions and making all the mistakes that you don't have to. But so I get a comment once in a while from professionals saying, "Oh, that you know, what are you doing it that way for? Whatever." All of the techniques. We got a comment about the machine that I use here, which is this machine is designed for beginners and journeymen. It's not a walking foot machine, which is a heavier machine, a bigger machine. I wouldn't advise anybody to start with a walking foot machine. It's just too much machine. It's like starting. I guess it would be like if you're driving, Jimmy. What would you like to start driving as a beginner? You wouldn't want to start with a muscle car, right?
Yeah, that'd be a little bit out of my, I'd be very skeptical with that.
For a young lad, what would you set for 16, 17-year-old, first car?
Mid-size, I'd say a good mid-size.
Something safe, but
Something definitely safe.
Right.
It has to be safe.
but not too powerful.
No, something, like a mid-size Ford.
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
like.
So it's the same thing with machinery. You want to start, in a softer way. So the classes that most of the YouTube videos that I show, I think are designed for beginners, and it's kind of like a casual introduction to the upholstery world, really.
It is. I mean, especially if you start with something simple, a chair, even maybe a little bit more size chair, for example, some of the floppy ones you might see, and I think if people see the work that goes into it, stripping it down and building it up again, whether it's a complete strip down or rather just you're going to reupholster it, I think it's just.
I mean, we could if we started out with a tuxedo, tufted back tuxedo sofa, really complicated cushions and everything else. I think so. Yeah.
You would definitely lose me.
In a regular in the old style apprenticeship style upholstery, they would never put a beginner on the insides, for instance. The professional upholsterer would be doing the insides. As you progress, the first thing that you might do would be outsides, maybe outside backs would be the first thing, then outside arms, and then they might progress you to the inside arms and the inside back. But it's a really slow process before you get to the harder stuff. So
yeah.
If it's presented, that's a different situation than the classes, though. The classes, somebody brings in their own chair, and we take them right from the stripping process all the way through, A to Z. That's unusual for beginners. Usually, like I said, it was father to son, passed down, and it was a slower process. Literally, the way I started was sweeping floors. I literally started sweeping the floors, and I was sweeping floors for a little while before I was shown. And they started showing me things, they meaning the older gentlemen that I was working around, and they found that I had a talent for French nails and putting panels. This had a panel of French nails. So they found I had a talent for that, which is a little unusual because that is the last thing that's put on. But in the very early stages, I was putting nail panels on, which was a very difficult thing for most people, but I had a talent for it. We all have certain talents. I'm glad they recognize that. And I've been here ever since. So Jimmy, I got a question from Janine, or a comment from Janine on measuring a love seat. This is what we just did this YouTube, right, Patrick? Mm-hmm. How many hits to it? How many people have viewed that so far on that one? I'm just curious.
Which one are you talking about?
The how to measure a love seat.
That just went up, so I know
Right.
Janine was one of the first ones to see it, probably.
Yeah, I'm glad
But it
because
just went up a few hours ago before the stream. So.
brings up a good point. She only saw it fast because she's subscribed to the to the channel, right?
Yeah, she probably has a notification.
So if you guys are watching this,
important. If you want to see what we have going up, then definitely press the bell.
so she's getting them right away, and I hope, I haven't read her comment yet, but I will. I hope that people are doing that. I know I always mention, I know I sound like I'm complaining a lot about subscribers. I do the same thing. Sometimes I've been watching a channel and I haven't subscribed. Finally I subscribe. I think it takes a while, doesn't it, Patrick? For people, they just kind of get used to the channel, they like it, and then they say, why am I not subscribed? And
Exactly.
so, please subscribe, because we're very close to the magic number, right, Patrick?
10,000.
10,000. What do they give you for 10,000, Patrick?
Well, you're able to sell T-shirts. That's all.
T-shirts.
Well, I mean, that's a start.
It is a
Oh,
start.
I've heard people want some T-shirts.
Hey, there's a lot of people out there. So Janine says about the measuring a love seat. This was a love seat. If you guys should look at it, it's a love seat.
Just went up.
Just went up. It's really weird. It's like a sofa that was made backwards. It has panel arms that are backwards. You guys should check it out. So Janine says, what an unusual style. Thank you for explaining the measurements and how a railroaded fabric is really needed. And again, Erica, you might want to look at that video. It's about railroading fabric too. By the way, we delivered that sofa. Patrick and I delivered that sofa. The customer loved it. She's got another one. Pat, I didn't tell you this.
Yeah.
She loved it so much she's doing the other one.
Nice.
She's got two of them like that. Do you believe that? So that was a hot day. It was like
What is this?
over in Medford. That was a 100-degree day. We delivered that.
Thank God you showed up, Patrick, and Dad didn't comment.
Wow.
So we had fun with that, didn't we, Patrick?
We did.
Okay. So we got a few comments on some other YouTube videos. One is the Do-It-Yourself Upholstering a Sofa Part 5 and Upholstery Stage 2. Now this is a very popular series of YouTube videos, and I have to tell you guys, this is probably one of the reasons why we wanted to do the online classes, because of this. This was a lot of work, wasn't it, Patrick, to film that?
Yeah.
And
That was
you know,
all the way through.
it's up on YouTube and it's free, but it tied us up for a long time because we had to show it right through. But it happens to be a very popular, right, Pat? It's very popular, and I think it's just me doing it. It's not a student like Jimmy, you know, asking the right questions. What I'm trying to do on that, if you guys want to check it out, I'm trying to answer the questions that a student would ask, like Jimmy, while I'm upholstering it. And I'll be honest with you, I probably lose about 50% of the questions that way when there's nobody there to ask. Because when you get to a certain point in any career, any trade where you're at a high level, you're mechanical a lot. What you're doing is mechanical, so you're not expressing that. It's not that you're doing it on purpose. That's what we find with the YouTube videos and the ones that I watch. I'll give you, for instance, off the subject of upholstery. Jimmy, you might be interested in this. I had a dishwasher at home, and the dishwasher...
You don't think your wife's at work?
No, not my wife's not the dishwasher. It's a Westinghouse or whatever it is. So the dishwasher was accumulating water after every cycle.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. Now that happens to dishwashers. So I went on YouTube. I said, well, I'll go on YouTube and figure this out. Jimmy, I found a couple of good YouTubes. I thought they were great YouTubes, right? Mm-hmm. And I watched them. I did everything they said. I tried 3 or 4 or 5 different things and still water. It was very frustrating. I made sure the hose wasn't kinked. I cleaned out the drains. I had to make sure that the disposal was working. I took that machine apart and put it together about 4 or 5 times. I was very frustrated.
Yes.
And I still had water. And so I'm scratching my head, and I'm thinking, let's look at this in a different way. So I said, what would I have done if it wasn't for YouTube? So I would have done troubleshooting. So what I did was, the machine was underneath the counter, and it had a couple of screws holding it in there. So I took the washer. Now that was delivered and installed by a professional, you know, place locally. I won't mention their name because I'm not too happy with them. So they installed it. So what they did was, the floor. If you guys have a dishwasher that's accumulating water, make sure it's level. Because
Yes, it has to be.
guess what? There was a little flooring missing in the back where they push the dishwasher in, right? And there's 4 adjustable legs on the washer. They did not adjust the rear right leg to compensate for the half of an inch. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it developed over, wasn't right away. Over time, the washer settled into that corner, so it wasn't level.
But still, just this one time, it ended up messing up the whole...
It's been water, excess water, the whole, for what?
I have a washer too, so I can call the Kevin Kennedy
I think
washing service.
The point that I'm making is, if the people who are on YouTube were doing the video with somebody else, 2 heads are better than one, even if one head isn't experienced, right? Sometimes it's the most logical thing first, and you know how much time I would have saved if I had done that first. So I unscrewed it, I took it out, I put it on a flat surface. I noticed that. I said, could that be it? I ran a cycle on the floor outside, away from where it was,
Right.
and the drain right off the first time.
Right.
And it was very simple for me
Right.
to
But
undo.
do you realize that if you have somebody come to your house, that it's at least $200, $250?
I know.
And, that is, it's the common sense things that always happen.
So the point of, I guess I'm trying to get through is, if this was a man who was fixing dishwasher who had an apprentice with him, the apprentice, I bet, would have picked up on that right away.
If he was not thinking with
The other guy, the professional's thinking, oh, it's got to be a mechanical problem. He's already inside the machine.
Yes.
This was an outside the machine problem. Now you've done that. You've not realized it. You've done that with your online class. You've asked some really good questions. I think today you asked a question about webbing on an outside arm. Why don't you use webbing on the outsides? That was beautiful. You can't use webbing, I told you, because it's too thick.
Right.
And you want to use a fabric instead underneath the real fabric, like a
Right.
stretcher fabric. So those are the type of things on the online classes, you guys, that you get. I think the value is unbelievable for the mistakes. I spent probably, I had tackled that dishwasher at least 3 or 4 times. Each time it took me hours.
Right, but because you're not experienced in that.
Well, that I'm not experienced too,
Well, it's
right?
just like, for example, if you had a garage and you have a couple of motors that are not working, you're gonna say, okay, plugs, okay, we got
Right.
sensors.
You do troubleshoot.
You're trying to look at anything and everything, you're trying to say, okay, what does this work, how does this right the way, and
Right.
back and forth you go.
Right.
And you may fix it up in 5 minutes, it may be an hour.
Yeah.
Just simple things, Kevin.
A simple thing like that. Also, Jimmy, I just took the adjustable leg, I brought that down a half of an inch, I put the machine back, I screwed it in, put the first cycle on, bone dry after.
But you know what? When they probably put it in, they probably slid it in quick, not checking the
They
the
didn't
balance,
look.
okay? They slid it in quick.
They didn't
They
care.
screwed it, done.
They didn't care. And it cost me.
I'm appalled.
Anyhow, so that was my woe
Screwing
story.
the upholsterer of the year like that, I'm upset now.
Did you say upholsterer of the year?
What year was that? 2 years ago?
I think
correct?
it's best upholsterer. There's a big difference.
I think upholsterer of the year should be
What's
best
the
upholsterer and the upholsterer of the year.
What's the difference? Best. What would you rather be? Best in the world or best in the universe?
I don't think it's always the same person. Do you think anybody outside the solar system really cares?
We have no ego here, you guys.
Oh, yeah. we don't.
I should get back to the.
Yeah, I think it doesn't say #1 upholstery channel. We'll forget about it.
He says number one upholstery.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
There you go. Thank God your prodigal son is your
What's better, number one or best?
number one, I think.
No.
Number one says it all. I mean, come on.
I like Jimmy. He's always got the quick-witted answers. I got a question. In a rainstorm, do you leave your windows up or down? No, never mind.
I think we already answered that, Mr. Kennedy. Thank you very much for asking.
Isn't it nice that the neighbor knocked on the door and said,
She's
told you?
very nice, yes.
Wow, you would have been swimming going home.
I have paddles in the car.
So the next comment is from How to Upholster a Biedermeier Chair. Nice, good work, good share, like video. Wow, that says it all, doesn't it? Thank you. Patrick, do you put the critical comments on these sometimes?
Yeah, that's all of them. That's just a screenshot of all the comments.
No, I mean, no, I said critical.
Yeah.
You do that. We don't discriminate, right? If somebody has a problem, we don't.
You charge them for it though.
We're not perfect.
And this is the troll. The troll's got
We get a few.
booted out.
Yeah. Stuffing a cushion cheaply and effectively. Somebody said feather. I resemble that remark.
You resemble that remark?
Jimmy, I want to give you a couple of words. I want you to repeat them to see if how good your strong your accent is. Feather.
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 Feather. Right.
Okay.
How about park?
Park.
Park. How about car?
Car.
Car. What's wrong with that?
I don't know. What's the matter?
So that's how we talk here in Boston, right?
Yeah, but you're gonna, you know what? When you come visit Boston, you see those shirts that go, "What's the matter?" or "We get pissed off."
Yeah.
We did like a Bostonian. Give it some spirit.
Some heart and some spirit. I think I mentioned this even last week. It's worth mentioning again. When in the 80s, they used to have accent reduction, Boston accent reduction classes at the adult education.
You're taking away from people's culture and dignity.
No, it was important because if you were a corporate lawyer and you were going before a judge, you're representing this high-end lawyer is representing this really high-end client, and he gets up before the judge and he says, "Your Honor, I want to talk about feather."
Well, is that like, what is that? My Cousin Vinny? What,
Oh, yeah.
Yes. These two youths.
You're right, that was a good movie. That was
That
funny.
was the best line of all.
Yeah, and you know who the judge was? That's a little trivia. Who was the
Fred
judge?
Quinn.
And what shows were he at?
Let's see, Car 54.
I love that Car 54 show.
Okay, I only saw that 1 or 2 episodes.
I love it.
And the Munsters.
And he was he was Herman Munster.
That was the bomb.
Yeah.
He was in his best then. You ever seen the baseball one?
No.
He tried out for baseball, Leo DeRocher, and he had a couple other.
Oh,
people
you
there.
mean in that character he tried?
Yeah, in
Oh,
that
okay.
character.
Yeah, that's
So
funny.
he hits the guy, throws the ball, hits it, and he takes out the scoreboard.
Only Herman Munster could do that.
I was, you just got to take it for what it is. The humor that was there at the time.
We cover a lot here. How did we get from?
I think you get back to upholstery.
How did we get from
Yeah, how did you
upholstery
get from that question to
and feathers to a guy hitting
We're rambling, Kevin. They're going to put us in the home now.
And I hope people hear the relevance with these,
I think if they can tell us the relevance, we should give them probably a free lesson.
Well, I think that's why Google is good. So when you're watching the show, I suggest that you're watching Google. You could be Googling now, Car 54, The Munsters, Fred Gwynn,
Yeah.
My Cousin Vinny, Feathers,
Yeah.
Anyhow, let's get back to this. And then we're going to have Jimmy come out, and he's going to sit with me over here in a Parsons chair that I want to talk about. So we have 2 more of these. How to upholster padding on a chair. Gilbert says, been looking to start making sofa chairs for sale. So when he says sofa and chairs, or does he say sofa chairs, I'm not sure. But it looks like he's trying to get into business. I bet Gilbert, if you're watching, I'd like to know if you're a fan of the YouTube channel. And I'd like to ask Patrick, is he on the online classes? You probably have a list of people, right, Patrick? Is Gilbert signed up for that, do you know?
I don't recognize the name, but...
We don't recognize the name of the
There's so many people now.
But really, you guys, check out the YouTube channel. We had somebody fascinating get in touch with me, and she said she's actually been upholstering using the YouTube channels. And I have to tell you, that was never the intention, I think, that somebody could do that. But we have so many videos. God love you. And listen, if you could do that, I'd say go do it. But don't forget about that dishwasher story that I told, right? Because I told that for a reason. The dishwasher story is what happens sometimes when there's information that's missing, right? So I think with the YouTube channel, like I said, you're going to get a lot of things missing here and there. You're probably going to get like a staggering of sorts. But with the online classes, you're going to get a nice smooth trend, A to Z, right? And you can speed it up when especially if you buy them, you have them. They're your videos. You speed it up, you slow it down, you go back, you look at it again, You hear Jimmy's joke for the third time or the fourth time. You know, when you're
What joke?
any joke.
Oh, yeah, sure.
We're talking about the online classes.
Oh, jokes.
So the next, the last comment we have is the 8-way tie. And I have to tell you, that was one of the first ones we did, right, Patrick, on YouTube?
That was the third video.
That was an
It
incredible.
was the first one.
And you know, the thing I love about upholstery is, especially with the traditional upholstery, is that Jimmy, it's an 8-way tie, hand-tied seat, for instance. That is a time-tested seat that's been around for about 150 to 200 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the way we show that on that video is the same as it will be another 200 years.
But that's a lesson that has to be taught and retaught for you to get.
But the thing is, it's an old video, but that video will be good forever.
Right. Well, you might want to change your shirt.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But the technology doesn't change that much.
No, it doesn't. But it's a very good lesson to be remembered for, because you never know, especially when you deal with, now we have a sofa.
Yeah.
Now this is a different approach to.
We're going to talk about this sofa in a minute. I'm going to read the comment here, and then I'm going to have you come up, Jimmy, because people want to see your face. Because I think Jimmy.
After it's been rained on.
Jimmy has a following. We know that.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, Jimmy has a following, so we're going to bring him up, and you'll be able to see Jimmy, the Boston guy, live in a minute. You've only been able to hear him.
Well, if you keep talking, it's not going to be a minute. It's going to be 10.
Did you hear what I said? Hear him?
Harem. Posse. It's posse, baby.
So the last comment is, what is the next? No, I'll try to take the Boston accent, and then you guys, I'll try to take the Boston accent out of this.
Right, it takes away from the whole persona.
Oh no, that's I can do it if I really
That makes you
concentrate.
sound suave and sophisticated.
What is the next step? How do you attach the phone? Any video and showcase the final steps? How's that?
Wow. You almost sounded smart.
Smart. And that
Make it
was.
smart.
So let me read that again because I was so. Let me read it in the
You're caught
Boston.
up in yourself.
I couldn't interpret it the way I spoke it. You believe that?
Yeah.
What is the next step? How do you attach the foam? Any video to showcase the final steps. My best advice to that is to get that, Patrick, I hate to bring up the fundamentals of upholstery, but
That guy has everything.
I mean, he's talking about something that has another 12 steps to it, really. I mean, but if he wants to know the very next step, this is Mark, I think. The very next step is burlap after the springs, tying of the spring. So there you go. So Jimmy, would you mind coming up here?
Oh yeah. Well, you know, I got nothing else to do right now.
So Jimmy, I have this Parson chair all ready for you to sit on, and I want to talk a little bit about this chair.
Oh.
So it's tied into our online classes that we have.
Oh, I like it.
We have Bernice teaching. Is that video up yet, Patrick?
The whole class is up, and we've had a few people enroll.
The Parson chair, right?
Yes.
Well, we just so happened to have, it's not the one she did. We just happened to have a Parson chair, six Parson chairs come into the shop. And you guys, Parson chairs are probably the hardest chair. I don't know if you can scale down on the legs on this, but they're the hardest chair to upholster because of the legs, mainly, Jimmy.
Well, this
So-
is the dining room chair.
Yes.
Normal dining room chair.
They can be very expensive. So why don't you sit down and tell me how that feels? So what we're doing with these,
Oh.
we
very
said,
nice.
we said to the customer was turned off by the price, honestly, you guys, very expensive. So I suggested, why don't you slip cover it? And occasionally I'll do a slip cover. In this case, the slip cover came in about almost half of the cost of the labor.
Thank God.
So the customer, of course, she loved that. So she's going to do 6 of them. So what it is, you got to get Bernice's class, because
I
Bernice's
wish you would. I
class,
wish you would teach. You know, of course, with the
if you're doing slip covers,
yes.
especially on a Parson chair, you guys, she shows you a quick and easy way of doing it. And these, I think, came in at about $250 a piece. So there's 6 of them, you guys. And the customer was thrilled because that was a lot less, almost half, than what it would have been to upholster them. So
Even basic, just changing the fabric.
that's right. So for $49, how much is that, Patrick, on the online class?
50.
$50. She shows you how to do it online, and you could turn an unbelievable profit.
Yes, but you
Right.
need her sewing techniques.
She shows them right there on the show.
Oh.
Yeah. on the
Well, I
online
would, you know
class.
what I would like if I did sewing? I would basic sewing, get into it.
Yeah.
Get into a basic with her because,
She shows you from that. She shows you right from the beginning.
okay,
She shows you how to cut around everything, and she shows you each piece of how it's sewn. Right, Patrick?
Yep, every step by step.
Right up to the finished product, right?
Yep.
Just like we do in the regular classes.
wow.
So,
Now,
hers only 4
But these
classes,
is,
but-
now how old are these?
and the other thing, Patrick just told me, her classes were only 4 classes.
But she packs so much into each one.
Wow. How long is the class? 1 hour, Patrick?
Yeah, they're all the same.
And keep in mind, though, Patrick, she's teaching by herself.
Exactly. So she's.
So I was talking about how we have, we did this a little different. It wasn't a student with her. Some people are a little bit better at explaining things to just a camera, and I think Bernice is one of those people.
Yeah.
She's really good at talking to the camera, and she's
They're
done
gonna hang out
done
with
it
her.
before. I know.
But how old are these? Because I mean,
These
I
aren't
know they
old,
look a
Jimmy. These
little.
are from the 90s.
Oh, so about 20 years.
From the 90s.
20, 25 years.
Yeah.
But I
Patrick's
mean,
from the
they're very-
90s.
But
yeah.
yeah, we know about that. A throwback, actually.
That chair's as
But
old as
no,
Patrick.
but this is, I know somebody else that does have 6 or 8 of these in their home, and it's heavier material than this.
Have they asked you to do them, Jimmy?
Nothing like that. No. I don't think they've even. I don't think it's used as much as she thought it was going. They were going to be used.
Right, I have to tell you, new they're expensive too.
What's that?
They're expensive new.
Oh God, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you really don't see this type of chair in a furniture showroom. You
Right. Not anymore. Well, the
Once out of
style-
maybe 10 sets, if
The
that.
style has kind of gone away.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
well, dining room tables, I think, and that type of formal room is almost a thing of the past
You know,
now.
it's funny, everything around a dining, it's an unfortunate development in society, but everything around a formal dining room has disappeared. The china, it ends up in the attic or the basement. How many people entertain with china? You know, we used to
Right.
we used
It
to have
used-
12 or 20 people.
It used to be, your family
Right.
would get together even twice a month at so-and-so's house. We're gonna do the big, 15, 20 people, and we're gonna have the roast, and we're gonna have lasagna, we're gonna have this and that. And you just, it's like, yeah, okay, there's the stuff all on the counter. Yeah, there you go. There's the plates. There you go. Good luck.
So it brings up something interesting, it's upholstery related. So I don't even know if they're building houses with dining rooms anymore. I think they're probably putting an office where a dining room used to be, or another bedroom.
Well, I think they're making the room a versatile room.
Versatile, right. So it brings about an interesting subject about upholstery. So a lot of times what we're doing in upholstery, so if we're not getting a dining room chairs,
Right.
or a lot of dining room chairs, we might get 4 of them in a smaller dining area, but what we are getting is a lot of window seats, a lot of areas where people want, or a kitchen nook, and they want cushions made. So you guys have to get good at doing, we just gave an estimate for a kitchen nook. Or people are using window seats as bedding, as another bed when they have guests over. So you're gonna have to make that comfortable, for instance. So we have to find ways in the upholstery industry to make up for the losses that we have
Right.
in the other areas. So it's interesting. So Jimmy, I want to talk a little bit about this sofa behind you. So if you want to just scoot over, you can still sit down if you want. So you guys, this is going to be, this is Jimmy's involved in this. This is called a new show, right, Patrick, called Furniture
Salvation.
Furniture Salvation. Patrick thought of that name, and I thought it was a great name. And just as luck would have it, we came about 2 very interesting pieces. This is one of them. But there's a lot of history on both the pieces that we've discovered recently. And Jimmy was with me on both of them, right, Jimmy?
Mm-hmm.
Both discoveries. This was discovered not far from the shop in Arlington where we are. And we're calling this a Sheridan, although some people might say, that's not a Sheridan. It doesn't have the Sheridan, legs in it. But we're calling it a Sheridan more for the back piece, which is a camel back, and I kind of like the idea of calling it a Sheridan. Sorry, did I say Sheridan? I meant Patrick. What did I mean?
Chippendale.
Chippendale.
How
Chippendale.
could you forget that?
It's been a long day, Kevin.
It has been a long day. Chippendale. Patrick wants to do things to promote this. He wants to have some Chippendale dances come in.
Get the hell out of here.
How about you and I,
You
Kevin?
said that.
Oh, definitely we'd have to give the sofa away after that.
But no, it's a Chippendale.
We can have those washboard abs painted on us.
Yeah, Jimmy, you should be willing to do anything for
No,
this.
no, there's a limit. Okay, thanks. Moving on.
But one of
Excellent.
the nice things about this is that it's from out the town that we're working in
Yes.
as custom upholstery. So this was a piece. We're guessing it was probably 1950. So it's what, 80 years old or so, and it was done by H. Sherney and Son. And I'll read the label. It says, custom made upholstered furniture, Arlington, Massachusetts. Isn't that wonderful, Ted?
What's the last name again?
Sherney, H. Sherney and Sons.
I'll have to look that up tonight.
And this, we just started taking this apart, and I have to tell you that the workmanship underneath this was really good. And we're going to be selling this, you guys. We're going to be selling it on BroadwayUpholsterySchool.com, right, Patrick?
Yeah.
And today we were talking about, and Blue Velvet won on this, right? And so it's Blue Velvet it is.
Stuff the ballot box.
Jimmy wanted red, but would have gone
Well,
good
your
with
son wanted red too.
would have gone good with the label, Jimmy.
Yeah, we're gonna match it up.
But we know we were honest with the voting. We had to keep
Which
the
is
voting.
something you may not see in the next election.
We won't say anything else. But it's going to be blue, so it's going to have to work. But that label's going to have to work because we want to put the label back. But then we're going to. I just want to show people how business has changed so much in all of areas of the world. So our business card with my son design, it has this on one side, which is the YouTube channel, what does it say? #1 upholstery channel on YouTube, youtube.com, Broadway Upholstery School. But what I really want to show you is the back side, is the information part of the card against this. So you got this guy, he's advertising, he just says Arlington, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was enough. Back then, he would have the yellow pages that we have here.
Oh yeah. Are they
And
still in existence?
Word of mouth. Yellow pages and word of mouth, that's it.
Right,
That was
exactly.
it, those two things.
Yeah.
And he probably had a good following because he's a good custom upholsterer, but his world was so small, right? His world was just the local and maybe a few towns around
Right.
here, maybe outside. I don't think two or three towns that way. You got another guy doing something. So he's just in this area. But now with the explosion of social media and the YouTube channel and everything, we have a worldwide audience, Jimmy.
Yeah. Is my
So-
name on that? No, I guess not.
Unless your name is Facebook or Yelp or Twitter or
I knew I got screwed again.
Pinterest. But we're on YouTube. We got all these hits. There are all these people who subscribe, and we got all this social media, which is an unbelievable necessity in today's world because everybody else has it too, Jimmy, right?
Yeah.
So
Except for me.
it's very competitive. Well, you're not in business yet.
Yeah.
You will be.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's extremely competitive. So what we're going to do is we're going to put these two cards, when this is done, we're going to put these two together, I think, somehow. I haven't figured out how we're going to attach them yet. They might go underneath.
Oh no, I think you should put it on the front.
You think so, Jimmy?
Oh, yeah.
Well, do you think people will like that in their living room now?
No, yeah, I mean you're gonna. Well, would you
Well,
want it?
Under the cushion, wasn't it, Dad?
Under the cushion is the traditional place to put them.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. So that's that. I'm really excited about it.
Now is this? How many cushions on this? I was just.
Well, there were two.
Okay.
But I think I want to put a bench cushion on it. I think
one
I want
big-
to put one cushion.
Really?
Yeah.
Why
yeah.
is that?
I was thinking about this today. I just think it might look better. I know that it has a separation here in the leg. Actually, speaking of the leg, I just think a bench cushion might look. I haven't really totally decided on it.
I think we should vote on it, Patrick.
Oh, another vote.
Another vote.
Don't get into that because there's a lot of other things. Now, one thing it had these French nails coming down here. I think I'm going to keep that, Jimmy.
Oh, absolutely.
I think
but,
they're going to look beautiful.
But
down here.
educate maybe
Sure.
some others. What was this made of? Since it's so flexible.
Well, that's a piece of cotton in here,
Okay.
and then the fabric goes on and folded underneath and pin tacked on.
Okay.
Right? It didn't have. Some of them have separate pieces, like wood pieces that appear.
Well, that's what I'm asking. How
This didn't have
flexible?
that. This was done by hand.
Oh, you're kidding.
So this is one of the original ways I started the business, like I mentioned earlier.
So you're going to show how this is done.
We're gonna show this, and then we're gonna put it up for sale. And we were talking today that we're gonna offer. Should I mention this now, Patrick? Are we decided on this in New England, Patrick?
Yeah. I'm
So-
fine with that.
Ideally, I would love for somebody in Arlington to buy this.
A local person.
I would love it to stay in Arlington. but that might not be possible because we're going to offer it for sale to the world.
Yes.
And Patrick,
But at least they'll know. They'll know the backstories. I'm sure they'll appreciate it.
yeah, but we're offering free delivery anywhere in New England when this is done.
So I can pack my overnight bag.
Well, Jimmy, are you interested
Hey,
in
come
going?
on. You and I had lunch recently. We had a good spot.
That's true.
4-star.
That's true.
We definitely think we can leave the kids at home.
I think there was a lobster involved in that too, wasn't there?
Yes. It looked pretty good laying there in the bun. Yeah, I thought so. And my chowder was excellent. I think.
Can you say chowder again?
Chowder? Chowder.
That's one of those words we get picked on in Boston.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that and
Chowder.
wicked pisser.
Now, if we're going to spell chowder, it's
CHOWDA.
H.
No.
No. You gotta put an H.
You're ruining the spelling of the New England language.
No.
Yes. You look it up. I guarantee it'll be. You ask anybody, and they'll of course those proper.
Spell it again.
CHOWDA.
D-A.
DA.
No,
Chowder.
no, you gotta put an H in the end of
Look,
that.
we're not giving English lessons out today. Okay. For those of you who really know what the word chowder means.
Well, we like to have fun with the Boston accent, but I wouldn't have it any other way because although they did have those reduction classes, as we progress here, more and more people think that people think I'm from the South or
South.
Oh yeah,
South of what?
South Boston. No, they comment on the accent, don't they, Patrick?
Yeah, all the time.
Oh yeah, people love it. I mean, because on the job that I deal with every day, people say something for me.
Do they?
Yeah, they
You mean
do.
like outside of people from outside the area?
Wisconsin, Florida, and some people
right
say,
there, see,
I used to
Florida.
be from New England, I used to be from the Boston area, now I've been down in Florida 10, 15 years.
And they've lost the
They've
accent.
lost it. I was out in California for 5 or 10 years and I came back. And,
Yeah. Well, we're glad. I don't think we'll ever lose the accent.
No.
Too bad you can't sew an accent into a sofa.
You can't sew it into it. No, you can't do
Yeah,
that.
there'll be a few tears.
Well, I think we're reaching a new low here. I feel the energy is
So
back
tell more
completely
about
out.
tell more about the
I just want to see what time.
sofa that we have.
No, well, I'll also mention, so the video of you doing that is going up right after the live show.
What
So
video?
people can actually, the first update.
You're doing that already?
Yeah, it's already been edited, so after the live show's over, people should wait around and check out the video.
Where are they going to check that out on?
Right on the YouTube channel.
On the YouTube channel. Patrick's already putting that up. Wow, that was fast. So what I did today, I took this apart to a certain point. And if you guys watch the YouTube videos, you know that I do restorative upholstery, restoration.
Yes.
No, I don't divide and conquer. I don't take things down to the frame. Even this one that we did get in front of a home, but I know the history of the piece. So I don't think I would do this on another piece that we don't know the history of.
Okay.
We would have to take it down to the frame. But I happen to know, I talked to the owner of this sofa. This was in his mother's house in Arlington. It's just stayed in the same spot.
Oh, wow.
No pets, no nothing. So
Thank
it's in
God.
perfect shape. So when we take the fabric off, we get into what the original upholsterer,
I mean, we're looking at it, there really isn't that
Yeah.
much to be replaced except for the
Well, I
front.
did replace this front edge there, Jimmy,
Oh, okay.
because I felt it needed a little bit. So we did restore that, but the seat was in really good shape. Now, so what I did today is I took the seat off, I took the outsides off, and I restored what I needed on the seat. That's upholstery ready now. We're going to upholster the seat and the deck first,
Okay.
and then we're going to start taking the rest of it apart, piece by piece, and upholstering it. And we're going to look at as needed basis what needs to be done. If we need to retire the springs in the back of this, we will do that. So it's getting restored as we upholster it. So that's
Okay.
how we do it. And the big reason is it keeps the integrity of the fine workmanship. If we start tearing it apart and starting over with new foam and all that, you lose a little bit of what it looks like.
Yes, I mean, unless it was really in that bad a shape that you have.
Yeah,
to.
if you have to, you have to. But it's important to keep the integrity or the lines of the piece, the intention of the upholsterer. They got it right. When I look at this, I say, wow, do they get it right? There's things that you might not see, that little subtle, curve of the back. There's something also very interesting about this. The arms have a very subtle little dip in the middle of it. And that's supposed to be there. It's not because it's wear or anything. That's a very typical of a French arm, a French, really fine French
But that's a
club chair.
nice style to have because
Yeah.
basically when you are sitting on that
Put
side,
your elbows right in there.
Yeah,
We have a
you're ready to
do we have a
groove.
question, Mikhail? Another question? No? I thought your hand was up. So, yeah.
I mean,
Pam
that's,
said
I
she'd
mean,
like
because
to
in
know-
today's,
Oh, yeah,
today's,
there's-
Oh, hold on one
there's,
second. We give it.
Just a question.
Okay.
Would like, this is from Pam, would like to know what/how you restored the bottom front of this.
We put that in the video, so stay tuned, Pam. That's next.
Oh, yeah,
Whole
yeah.
section on the bottom
What'd they
part
say?
we talked about. So-
Check it out. We used a back stitch with the nylon twine, bless you, the nylon twine and a
okay,
piece of burlap to
okay.
fix the front. It just had a little, on one end, it had a little rip. I wasn't happy, what I did was, it was tacked along, so we kept the original, but in front of it, we put another piece of fresh burlap. So she could see that on YouTube right after this, after she watches this, right, Patrick?
Yep.
It's actually up now.
Well, no, it's not up yet.
Oh,
I
okay.
made sure. They tore off the air. It'll
You
go
can't
up.
do everything, right, Patrick?
Oh, I think you actually could do that, but
I think
So how many feet is this gonna take?
well, first of all,
How many yards are rather?
we only do square feet in leather, right, Jimmy?
What's that?
We only do square feet when we're talking leather.
Really?
Yeah. So when we talk fabric, we're talking
Yards?
yards, but not square yards.
Yes.
Usually an upholstery fabric is 54 by 36.
Okay.
So that's an upholstery yard.
So you're gonna show your sewing skills.
We're going to show our sewing skills, French nail skills, our upholstering around curves. We have curve this way, we have a curve this way, we have curves in the back. That's what makes this a beautiful piece of furniture. And I tell you something, if people don't buy this, I'm going to take it home myself.
You know what? About what, 3-4 months ago, I was looking for a large sofa. I mean, mine's basic.
Yeah.
I got it from, I can't say the name. But anyway,
You got it at a box store that.
I got it at a good,
One of these big box
reputable
store.
furniture company, and I said, you know what, this is nice anyway, it'll work.
There's 3
it's
letters
good."
in it. The first letter's B,
No,
and the last
no,
letter's
no,
B.
I went a few steps higher than that. But anyway, I thought if I found a sofa like just like this and a few feet longer, guaranteed.
Oh yeah, it's
Absolutely.
beautiful. It is a beautiful piece of
That
furniture.
my living room would all be no modern pieces. It
Yeah,
would be all reupholstered.
it is beautiful. Yeah, it's just.
Because
something-
you know just the framework.
So, this is a very traditional look.
Yeah.
But if before we leave, I want to show that the next furniture salvation. I love that, Patrick. Furniture salvation. I love that.
Yeah,
Um,
we're gonna go live someday. We're gonna go nationwide, folks. So just like the what is that show?
American Pickers.
The American Pickers. There you
But
go.
for every American Pickers, there's probably 1,000 shows that didn't do so good, Jimmy. Someday, remind me about my pilot.
Well, we can be old, and we'll bring Patrick with us. He can haul off the the furniture for us.
I will mention a little bit about a pilot that I did for a major national-wide television network.
No.
There's a VH tape out there somewhere. He's trying to find it.
Yeah, I wish I
think I hit it.
Did you? You buried it?
He probably
I buried
burnt it.
It's probably gone, but it's.
Well, you know what, Patrick, you'll have to find it because when we have Dad's testimonial dinner some night, we'll probably.
I don't think that's ever going to happen. Jimmy, you'll have one of those before me.
Oh no. It's just-
Well, if I ever found it, it would go right on YouTube.
Oh no, no, because it was at the beginning of my career, and it was a major. I can't tell you which major network
Okay.
was going to do a show
Okay.
about interiors,
Okay.
and they came into a shop. This is what happened. I won't mention the shop I was working in because that might embarrass people too. But there was a very seasoned upholsterer that I was working with, and I was just starting. And the very seasoned upholsterer was supposed to be the star, along with the person who was hosting the show.
Okay.
So when they came in, now back then, now what Patrick's done here is he's got a television studio with some really good equipment. But back then they needed a lighting director, a movie producer, a sound man, a stage man, a blah blah blah. The whole list.
So
There must
10
have been
people.
12 people in
Right.
there with all the equipment. So you got to imagine this. So I'm in the back, just I'm amazed. Wow, look at all this. I'm glad I don't have to do anything, right? So I'm in the back, and all of a sudden, the man who was supposed to, the seasoned upholsterer who was supposed to do the show,
Yeah.
got cold feet. And so I'm in the back, and he comes over to me and he says, "You're gonna do just great." And out the door he goes.
No way.
And so the host is up there, and the cameras are on, the lights are on, all the people are waiting, and she says, "Well, welcome to blankety blank show. And we have our upholsterer here." And he's where is he?
And you pointed to the door.
And I was him. So I had to do the best I could.
So we have to find this. We have to.
I know, I really want to find
But,
it.
Yeah, I definitely think we.
But
can
you don't know. I don't want you to find it because in the end,
Okay. Hey, look it's just like me in the town. Come
Jimmy,
on.
I want to show you what happened. Here, grab a hold of that.
Okay.
Grab a hold of it.
Okay.
So in the end, I was so nervous at the end of it. This is a double piping, let's say,
Okay.
that was made for the sofa.
Right.
And she's standing there, and what I was supposed to do was she was supposed to take the double welting, so take it away. I forgot to let go.
You can let go
Yeah,
now.
do it again, do it again. I'll show you what was supposed to happen, like that.
I like that,
And
but
then,
no.
and then the camera was supposed to pan to her, and she was supposed to end the segment, but instead,
You
I
kept
just.
it. You,
So there was a tug of war. And guess what? The
you,
show didn't get on.
really?
That was it. I think it was the double piping that
No,
ended.
come on.
That
come
ended
on,
the
come on,
career.
come on. You can get beyond a simple mistake like that. Things happen. You know what the hell?
But it's just fun. And now I can talk about it and laugh.
Well, I know. See, now you're on. Things have stepped up a little bit.
What things could have been, Jimmy?
You could have been a star.
Jimmy, I know a guy that
I think the name is Bob Vila.
Oh, I didn't say that, you guys. I didn't say that. What time is it? Well, this might be a good time to end because I think Jimmy spilled the beans there a little bit. So with that, there are no more questions, and we had a great time. This has been fun. Nice. It's nice to reminisce about the upholstery world, Jimmy,
Yes.
and all
yes,
that it entails.
Yes, I think that's in the second edition of Upholstery Monthly, isn't it?
I think so. We used to have a magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah, check out Upholstery Journal. We have an article in there about the Napoleon chair, as a matter of fact. The magazine's not around anymore, but if all you guys want to Google that, go to Upholstery Journal and put in Napoleon's chair, and you'll see
come
a
up.
nice article about the actual Napoleon's chair that we did. And with that, Jimmy, thank you again for joining us.
No problem.
It's been great with your Boston accent, and so we'll see you next time, you guys.